Sorry guys, minor technical difficulties. I'm gonna see if I can reconnect to the Discord server, but no guarantees. Display 0, display 1. Yep, display 1 officially doesn't want to function. This is really not good, is it? Normally it's not this bad, I promise you guys. Just today in particular has been a perfect storm of chaos. Can y'all hear me? Are we good?
Yep.
We're back? We're back? Okay.
Yep,
Jesus. This has just been a perfect storm, hasn't it? Normally it's not this bad. Right. Where was I? Right. So the kid just basically told 327, 804. Okay, good. The kid basically just told you, Grim, that he knows what where the data pad's from, and he knows where he's seen it. Let's start back from there.
Well, that's new. Do you know anything else about it?
I saw it about a month ago. One of the adults brought it in. It looked important. It looked old. But it wasn't a data pad. It was a cube of some kind, a box. It was wrought iron. There were some inscriptions on it, and I think it might have been Archon script. I don't really know. The adult said it was dangerous, that it should be protected and kept safe from the rest of the world. They tried to hide it. When you guys came in and killed them all, you retrieved. We had lost it about a month and a half ago. They said that it just disappeared from their vaults one day, and they had been trying to find it for months beforehand. Yeah. I don't know if I can be of any help to you, but I'll try and answer as much as I can.
Well, that would be good. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. My name's Taka, by the way.
Eat that, CJ.
What?
What's the kid's name?
Taka. Taka.
Taka? Okay.
Taka.
Well, thank you, Taka.
Yeah, no problem. I could have probably helped you with that planetary puzzle, too. I've heard it before, but you guys seemed like you knew what you were doing, but...
All right. Well, that's good to know.
Indeed.
Let's keep moving these sandbags around, okay?
Okay. And he just happily nods and wanders after you. So in like the 15 minutes that they've been here, Ryan, they've just been sort of moving sandbags around and looking around. They haven't really been doing anything yet. The one you shot at seemed a little bit worried.
For a little bit more.
Okay.
But if I see them take anything back to their ship, that's when I'll do something.
Okay.
Okay, so when the kind of defenses are all set up and everything, I'm going to start kind of organising kind of search parties to kind of search and scavenge buildings and clear them out.
I'm gonna roll a quick survival check then. +5, I'm gonna say. 15, Jesus. I just got that. So you send out survival parties like pretty much all over the place. They start looking around and salvaging buildings. Several of them come back to you with worried faces and looks, saying like, there was stores here, but it got looted. We don't know. Is there somebody on the planet with us? Like, there are several cases of that, and you're like reassuring them probably and trying to like make sure that they're not panicking. And then one of them comes up to you with a bit of a more triumphant face than the rest. He says, "I found it, sir." Or ma'am, rather. Gender with Nephilim is a little bit hard to...
It's fine.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. I found something in the house over there. And he points off in the direction of, like, a house down the street.
Show me. Tell me.
Okay. And he sort of nods, like, excitedly, and he sort of leads you down the road. The house itself, where he's pointing, there is literally a skyscraper laying sideways across that entire housing block. There is no house here. He looks at you. He gives, like, a raised eyebrow, and he sort of gives, like, a mischievous grin. And he walks over to where one of the... he walks over to the skyscraper, and he actually climbs underneath it and sort of disappears below it. And then he sort of waves you in.
Okay, I'm gonna follow him in.
Okay. So the skyscraper itself is like... it's like you're like crawling through a cave. There's like a black glass, like glossy topped wall above you that's like covered in broken glass and wire, and there's actually exposed wires and stuff hanging from the ceiling. And then the ground itself is dirt, hard packed. As you crawl, you come across a metal door set into the ground. It seems like a bomb shelter. He looks up at you. He's like, "Sir, this is what I found." I'm sorry, I don't know what accent I had there, so it's gone, long gone. But yeah, he just says, I was looking through one of the skyscrapers. I thought that there was I saw something metal on the ground nearby, and I climbed underneath it, and there was this here. Seems like it's been untouched.
We tried to open it yet?
No, not me. I'm not the adventurous type. That's why I stuck so close to home. If I was more adventurous, I'd absolutely start going further out.
No, you did good. Get back to the ship.
Okay.
Call on the other search parties to return to the ship and tell Fair to meet me down here.
Okay, I'll do that, sir. And sorry, who did you say? Remore?
Fair? Faye?
Faye.
Good
Okay.
doctor.
Fall.
Faye, yeah. There we go.
Okay, so he hurries off into the distance. Fall, you see a man run up to you. He has, like... He's lighter skin, very bulky, red bandana tied across the back of tied across his head. He's Kaltoran, but he's, like, really tall. Oops, Daisy. How is that sounding on stream? Is that sounding okay on live? Give me a minute. Oh, okay. Fair enough. I'm not breaking up on stream.
She's cracking like...
Yeah. So for the most part, this bulky, strong-looking Kaltoran runs up to you and sort of just says, "Sir, whatever the hell that Nephilim's name was, she wants you. She's underneath, he's underneath, there's a skyscraper down the street. She's climbing underneath it. There's a bomb shelter door down there. It seems like it's untouched. She wanted you."
All right. Is Taka still next to me?
Probably. He's probably just, like, setting up a sandbag, sort of patting it down, sort of looking at it half satisfied.
Is Sirius nearby?
Sirius is probably, he's deep in conversation with another man who has another data pad nearby. They're, like, running through some random technical jargon, and one of them's, like, pointing... the person that Sirius is talking with points to Sirius's data pad and he puts it in his.
I catch Sirius's attention and
wait and like nod
Okay.
like we need to go
Okay.
And then I talk to Taka and say, Taka, would you like to come and see what's going on?
Yes, yes, I would love to. This is my first time being on the surface. It's so bright. Well, yes, okay. I'll come along. And he sort of nods to himself, sort of as if to assure himself, and then he sort of treks off after you.
I pull my knife out and I hand it to him
Okay.
just in case.
He holds it like with a professional's grip, almost like a worrying level of talent, and he sort of nods at you. He's like, "I've used these a couple times," and then Sirius is gonna run up to you with his SMG drawn. He's like, "Where's the enemy? What are we doing?" Or no, where's the enemy? What are we doing?
I found something, and we should probably go look at it. It was some form of I assume some form of blast cellar door that might need to be opened, and we don't know what's on the other side.
All right, I can do that. I'll check for traps and explosions, all that bullshit. Lead the way. He nods and he sort of steps in line.
I have the other Celts sworn. Do you show us where to go?
Sorry, what? What are you doing?
The crew member that ran up to me and told me what was going on.
Okay.
I want to have them show me where we're going.
Okay. He sort of starts at a jog down the street. You guys are following him, right? I can just assume that.
Yep.
DM, how many
Yes.
people would be leaving? Like, how many people would I see that are leaving the ship to go?
About half the crew leave, but the other half remain behind. There's about 30 people on the ship total, so about 15 people are milling about, working with crates and other gear. Some of them are keeping like lookouts. They seem to be preparing for a long day.
Can I try and sneak behind the ship?
Sure. Give me a 3d6 plus physical. I'm going to give somebody a 3d6 plus awareness as well.
Aware. Oh, 3d6 awareness, that is.
No, I was giving you 3d6 plus physical. Physical is for sneaking, stealth,
same thing.
athletics. Okay.
Same thing.
Okay. 13 versus
that's
11,
13.
huh? Okay, you make it through relatively unnoticed. There's a moment where somebody sort of starts to look your way, and you just sort of duck behind a crate, and they look in the direction of where you were, sort of scratch their head and go back to looking around. You eventually manage to make your way around to the back of the ship.
Okay. Is there anybody here?
No, probably not.
Okay. I'm gonna find a place on the ship where is the bottom of the ship smooth, or is there some like exhaust vents or something?
It's smooth. There's some thrusters farther up the ship, like we're talking about 2 or 3 meters up. It's a relatively large ship.
Okay. I would like to take one of the items that I have, and I'm sure you know which one,
Yep.
and throw it into the thruster.
Okay. It sticks to the roof of the thruster. And sort of waits there. Yep.
All
Sticks to it and waits there.
Alright. I'm gonna try. I want to back up a little bit,
Okay.
and then give myself away, like as I'm walking back to as I'm like sneaking back to where I was. I want to be careless.
Okay.
I want them to notice me.
Okay. So somebody like looks at you, like directly looks you in the eyes. He's like, "You're not from who are you?" And she raises an assault rifle, and she actually takes a shot past you.
Oh shit. Okay.
What are you doing here? Who are you? State your
Should
business.
I describe what they see?
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Let's-
sure,
let's-
go for it.
let's- they would see person pale grayish skin,
Okay.
wearing like they would see like how would I describe it? Like a black carapace on my chest, front and back, smaller segmented like bump, like armor, so to speak, all along the fronts of my legs and on my shins. That would be considered my armor. And just plain short, grayish hair and blue eyes.
Okay.
They see a bow on my back and a sniper or a rifle in my hands
Okay.
and a backpack.
Oh boy. Okay. She looks at the backpack. She looks back at you. She says, "Now, what the hell were you doing with that?" And she wanders over.
I hold up my hands.
Okay.
And I say, "Listen, you're not from here, are you?"
God, no. We've come from. Have you not seen?
I saw
Where's
you
your
land.
crew? Where's your crew? Where's your ship? Where? How long have you been here? She looks sort of concerned.
First, let me introduce myself. I
Yes.
am Vexalia Vendrov, the king of this planet.
King, you say. Sort of half
Well,
grin.
former king. As you can see, it's not much of a kingdom anymore.
Kingdom. Yes, right. Follow me. I'm sure that I can take you to somebody who will actually know what to do with you. And she sort of like motions for you to follow her.
All right. Does she turn her back and walk away, or is she like? Do I
She's
follow her
keeping an eye
behind?
on you. She's keeping an eye on you.
Can I try and? No, nothing. It's fine. Never mind.
Okay,
I
okay.
follow her diligently. Although I do make sure that safety's on my rifle, and
Okay.
it's like I'm not holding it by the trigger,
Mm.
just holding it like in one hand, walking beside me. Gun barrel pointed up.
Okay. Let's see. So while that's going on, Grim, Remore, and Chu isn't here. To give a bit of an explanation as to why Chu isn't here right now, minor family emergency. It's been going on for months now, or like a couple weeks. He won't be really with us for a couple more weeks, I don't think. Unfortunately, viewers. Just to give you guys an idea of what the hell's going on with that. So, Grim, Remore, you guys are...
Sorry.
You guys sort of move underneath this skyscraper, and you see a very large iron door. It seems to be like sealed up like a blast door, and there's like a heavy padlock on it. Like an iron one. It seems to have been rusted completely through. You could like probably tap it and it would fall apart. It's impressive that it's even still here.
So I'm going to turn to Four and Cab. Just why the hell did you bring a child with you? What are you doing?
I can help.
He seems fairly capable.
It's a child. It's a hostile planet. What are you doing?
The child suddenly like whips out his knife and sort of points it like offhand towards where you guys were coming from, and he's like, "I can watch your back if you need."
Okay. Sure.
Understood. And he just sort of crouches down and watches.
Four. Want to have a look at this door?
Okay. The door itself is sealed. It's got a lock on it. It's not really like blast. It's not like a blast door in the traditional sense that you guys would know of now. It's mostly just like heavy titanium. There's like iron plating going all the way throughout it. There's some tungsten like carbide ribbing all throughout it. Like it looks like this thing could survive a nuclear blast. and it probably did.
Okay, I'll take turns trying to open this door then, I guess.
What are you gonna do to the door in particular?
Well, I'm gonna try and break the lock first.
The lock breaks.
Pretty old, yeah.
The lock breaks. The door swings. It doesn't swing open, but it
I'm gonna
waits.
try and pull the door open.
Okay, so you pull the door open, and a skeleton that was hanging from the ladder just underneath the door clatters to the floor below, about 20 feet. Are you guys gonna go inside? It's still pretty dark in here.
I'm gonna send the guy with the flashlight first, the engineer.
Okay. Sirius nods. He's like, understood. He climbs down the ladder into the bottom chamber, and a flashlight flicks on. And he says, "It's preserved. This stuff is thousands of years old. You guys got to come and look at this."
I'm gonna follow him in.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So
Wall awareness.
no, I'll give you a description of the room itself. There is a small bunker. It is pretty bare bones. There are some cots set up with like relatively worn fabric, but it's still actually intact. There's like a hardwood oak table set in the center of this room with several now very dead, very long dead data pads sitting nearby. There's some chairs pushed out. One of them's sitting on its side. And on a dresser near one of the cots, there is a picture of what looks like a really well-dressed man with short-cropped, blondish brown hair, wearing a crisp military uniform, carrying an ion rifle, sitting next to like a woman with her child and like a building in the background. There are military uniforms set up on the cot against the wall, and you can see the dead form of this man, hair literally still intact on his head, body still completely fine, skin and all, sitting in a corner of the room, eyes closed, head up, peacefully, staring at the ceiling. His rifle lay discarded to the side.
Well, I'm gonna salvage his rifle, then search him for anything useful.
Sure. You search him. You don't find anything. There's like a picture of a woman and a child, and there is like a couple dog tags. They say Captain Revan Psycha. Siri just opened up on me. What the hell? Yeah, so Captain Revan, you have found him.
Okay, so I'll continue searching the rest of the room for anything useful.
Okay. On a table, on the dresser next to the picture that you saw, there is a plastic key card with a yellow stripe across the top and a blue stripe across the bottom. It says clearance level 6 on it.
Ooh, I'm taking that.
Yep. And then also in like, do you know anything about human language? Would you know anything about English?
No, I don't think I would.
Okay, so it doesn't actually say clearance level, it just says unintelligible, garble, and 6. And then there is a long sentence on the back of the keycard. This seems to have been scraped in with like a knife on the back. But you don't understand it, and it just sort of sits there soundly.
I'm gonna hand it to the engineer because I believe he knew about English. Rightly.
He knew about it. Sirius looks at the key card, and he sort of looks it over. He says, "I don't like that scrawling on the back. That seems a little it seems like it was a pretty desperate last attempt. I can't read it by any means, but whatever this place unlocked, I could hazard a guess that it's probably pretty dangerous.
Oh, great. Let's go find it.
Indeed. That rifle. I don't have any use for it. You don't have any use for it. I don't think that Fall has any use for it. That man and his rifle, we should leave them there. We shouldn't search the body. We should... Well, you've already searched the body, but we shouldn't disturb them anymore. This is their final stand. Let's go back.
Yeah, you're right.
He gives like...
Dead to the rest.
Yep. He gives like a respectful nod, and he sort of climbs back up and out of the hole.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow him out and then kind of seal the door behind me again.
Sirius probably... So Fall, Sirius probably comes out of the hole first. He looks at you and he says, "Let sleeping dogs lie." And he nods and he wanders out of the building and out into the street. And then Grim probably also... Or no, Remor probably comes out after him.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow him back to the ship.
Alright. Fall, you gonna do anything?
I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the ship as well.
Okay. The kid probably like tags along, sort of wanders after you within step. So, okay, now would be a good time. Ryan, you've been led to a very, very angry-looking Kaltoran woman with her hair pushed back into a bun. She's smoking a cigar, sitting in on a sandbag, like bright, crisp uniform with like that like sort of notifies a captain or a pilot in Kaltoran military jargon. And she's carrying like a very mean looking like laser rifle, and she looks up at you, she grins, and she's like, "I see that you're the one that everybody else has been talking about."
I take a bow. I get on one knee, take a bow, and say, "And to what do I have the pleasure, ma'am?"
Well, you have the pleasure of the stupid conversation. You don't have any pleasure. You've come here, snuck into our camp with weapons. You haven't made yourself known. You don't have any indication of who you are or what you're doing.
Snuck onto my planet, sweetheart.
Your planet.
Yes.
She looks
as I
around
told you,
incredulously.
there.
She looks around incredulously and holds out her arms. She's like, "What part of this seems like a civilized planet to you?"
It was a civilized planet.
5,000 years ago it was.
You think stasis doesn't exist?
You're a Nephilim. When this planet collapsed, the only races that were still on it were human. Surely. This is from before the Archon.
What can I say? I'm a man of surprises.
She grits her teeth and looks at you a little bit suspiciously, and she sort of finally nods. She's like, "So what can we help you with?"
Well,
You
I'd
obviously
just like
seem to
know-
be here for a reason. I'm hoping that you don't come with hostile intentions.
Oh, of course not, milady. I plan to please. I plan to be of assistance to you. As you can see, the planet around me, I haven't had much social interaction, so pardon me if I'm coming off weird. And I say, "What is your name, miss?"
Well, I honestly don't think I ever actually gave her a name, did I? Did I? Give me a minute while
You
I check
did,
my
but I don't
message.
remember what it is.
That's Sorvis, that's Kieran, that's Manfire.
Or fucking Sally Mae or something.
The name was Euclideus. Mission 3, blah, 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 blah. Oh. Huh. So. Right. That's fun. I've written this here rather interestingly. It said the only thing that I wrote about her was in brackets Swagger family. So that's interesting. So she sort of puts her hand on her hip. She says, oh God. Okay, I'm gonna just say that that can be her name. You can call me Celeste. That's all that you can call me. You will not call me Captain. You will not call me anything else. Do I have your agreement, Mr. She sort of looks at you.
Vexalia Vengerov.
Vixalia,
And
yes.
I hold out my hand to shake her hand.
She looks at you. She puts her hand and shakes. And she pulls her hand
I
back.
get down on one knee and
She's
okay.
like she looks at you very she seems very suspicious of you.
I mean you no harm, darling. I simply am here to please.
I don't like the sound of that though. And she nods to herself. She's like she looks up, she's like, the rest of our crew. She looks at you meaningfully and then sort of gets up and waves you guys over. Grim, Remore, and the other two.
What was your name again?
Celeste. And in brackets, I've put her last name is Swagger, so that should say something
Okay.
Oh, good.
to you.
Yes, I know her and her family very well.
Yeah.
I hold up my hands.
Last time.
Okay.
Who that? Heck is this?
Remore. Yeah, you see a Nephilim.
Just as a side note,
Yep.
we really need to find a way to get comms of some kind.
Yeah, short range is some assortment. Yep. I mean, Remore has it, but nobody else does. So he tries to put on short range comms and nobody responds because he's talking to space.
Well, like I just need to find I was gonna go get one before we got murked.
Yeah, I actually was gonna make a spare time roll, and I actually did make a spare time roll for Sirius earlier, just to see if he had actually pieced together a short range comms of his own for that month, and he failed by 2, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, the rest of you guys, you haven't really been able to do much, have you? If you want to throw down maybe I don't know, if you want to throw down a spare time point, I could say that you have short range comms. You have spent a month in the middle of the vastness of space with several parts that are mechanical, and you have 2 mechanics with you.
I mean, can I throw down a spare time roll to see if we might have figured something out?
Yeah, sure, go for it. Hey, God of War, how are you? Welcome to the stream.
A spare time roll is just 3d6, right?
Yep, 3d6.
Yeah, I don't make it.
Right. All right. Fair enough. So you probably tried something for a couple of days and then just sort of failed.
I tried working on something and then it just did not work. I was I know how to work with physical things and not mechanical stuff. Why did I try this?
Sorry, God of War. There's pretty much a full party here right now. Yeah, Sirius is gonna sort of nod to himself. He says, "Yeah, that's sort of the way it goes. I'm sure that with a little bit more salvaging, we're gonna find something or another at one point or another. It all comes down to it all comes down to how much we're gonna keep working at this. We could always try and buy it in the nearby station, but with those black ships on the horizon, I don't think that we're gonna get there very easily. Sirius is gonna sort of look off into the distance at the tower. He's gonna say, "That thing's real creepy, but that's the only thing that I can think of that key card might have gone to. Maybe we should take a look."
Yeah, I just heard of this. That's pretty deal whoever this is.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go.
Give it a little wank.
Okay. What do you guys suggest? He looks at the he looks at the newcomer, the rather handsome-looking Nephilim, and he sort of like looks at you in particular. He's like, "I don't trust you, but you've been on this planet the longest.
20
What?
years.
What is that thing? 20 fucking years. What?" He sort of goes wide-eyed. He's like, "How the hell did you survive in this place?"
Can I
Well,
make a roll for that?
Sure. Sure. Give me a culture roll. Oh wait, no, give me an awareness.
Gotcha.
And you, Ryan, I want you to give me a resolve check.
resolve.
Let's just put it this way. I have a 22.
He is speaking bullshit, my friend. He's speaking some truth that he's been here a while though.
You don't get a result. You don't get a resolve roll.
Oh, I don't roll it. All right.
I mean, he
I know,
rolled
it's fine.
22.
Sure, you can take a roll. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's really worth it at this point.
Yeah. Oh my God, we have a lot of people today in the stream. Welcome up, everybody.
Cool. Hi.
Hi. Sorry, just randomly.
I apologize for like. I'm a little bit new boy.
We all
Ryan,
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye.
I apologize for that. Just where like, I was just like, wait, there's very little chance that he's gonna be able to beat that.
Yeah.
No problem. No, that's grand.
Yeah, from your insight, I'd say you probably all do get that he's been here a while, but he hasn't been here 20 years.
There's something about him that's just like, no.
Yeah. There's something wrong.
There's no way that that's a thing.
Yeah.
I look over at Quinn and go, Quinn, how old would you say your strain of Nephilim are?
No more than a year or two old. I mean, I'm one of the newest models, but there's only one of me.
I mean, like, your type.
Oh, Nephilims. Nephilims been around for years. It's just the emissaries, a newer breed.
I'm aware that there are pure worn and like hybrid ones, but I would think that we would be a bit more aware that the emissaries are new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this guy does not look like anything other than an emissary.
Apparently he's not an emissary. Out of character. Apparently he has said that he is not an emissary. So in other words, he's very large, very bulky looking.
He's not
Oh,
a
never
pure
mind.
blood either.
You notice, if I may, you may
Yeah.
notice the armor that I have on seems to be segmented in parts, but it's mostly black and ribbed.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a hybrid.
He'd be a hybrid then. Yeah, you would definitely be an emissary, dude.
Oh, sorry.
Otherwise you'd be like 7 feet tall, bulky as hell, and look like a monster from the Swamp Thing.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a. Sorry to all the viewers. I'm
Yep.
new.
Yeah, he's only been here with us for like 2 days. It's not a huge deal. Or I told him about it like yesterday. So
Oh, that's fair. It was just more like a,
I just kind of like the idea that that's something that he would actually do in character, though, even knowing that he's not, that he is an emissary.
What is an emissary?
Um, right. If I can give some background on them, they're they're the Nephilim's attempt at like being a more diplomatic race. They basically bioengineered a set subspecies of Nephilim that are like thinner and more diplomatically oriented, and they only live about 15 years.
they're more like acceptably humanoid,
Yeah, they're more acceptably humanoid.
less bestial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dog is here. She says hello.
I'm a slightly different emissary because I was specially created for
Yeah.
stealth and assassinations,
Warfare.
combat.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would only be around 2 or 3 years old.
Probably.
All right.
Which is probably the funniest part about this, considering you touched down so so long ago.
Well, would I know that he saw through my bluff?
Give me a. Oh God. Okay. So now this is just gonna get into really crazy shit. So give me an awareness roll again. Oh, except on your end. Fall. Are you gonna try and hide this or?
Ooh,
Ooh.
Reroll that
14.
6, that 1, if you want.
Feel free to reroll that one. Yeah. Every 6 that you roll, you can reroll 1 dice and get the result for that. So in reality, you got 19.
To answer your question, no, I'm not gonna say
Okay.
anything.
So
Actually,
she.
no, that's an 18,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not gonna like hide it because it's just like
Yeah,
I'm
that's real
straight up
bullshit. Right.
bluff. That
Yeah.
I'm straight up bluff by asking our other Nephilim friend here.
Yeah.
It's like,
Makes sense.
Well, I suppose I should be honest then. I am an emissary. I've only been here a year. My ship got crashed, and I've been trying to survive ever since. It's hard on a fucking barren planet. Do you know how hard it is to eat food? There is none.
sort of the scraps you can find, I'm sure.
I go scavenging every day trying to find something. Look, I just thought maybe I could go in, get some supplies, and leave. That's all I want.
That's fine. More than welcome to tag along with us if you want.
I probably need the extra muscle anyway.
I look over to Celeste and go, is there any small amount of food we might be able to give him? If only a way he does not unintentionally bother us again.
She nods to herself. She looks a little bit thoughtful. She's like, "Yeah, I can do that." She goes off and pulls out some like crates from the back of the ship and sort of unloads them and sort of takes out some dried packaged meats and like powdered milk and other stuff and sort of passes it on your way.
I take it all. Or
Okay.
I take as much as I can and say thank you, and then quickly get down on my knee, put it in my backpack, and put it back on.
I stop him before he leaves. It's like, you've been on this planet for about a year?
Yes, I have.
Would you be so kind as to help us navigate to that to that really big tower? We're not sure what we might find.
To be.
Well, can you repeat that? I heard like a bit of it.
Oh, sorry, the one that gave off the emitter beam.
Yes, that one.
You would know,
I've done what I
Ryan.
can.
Real
Yeah.
quick to interject. Ryan, you'd know that that tower has been sealed for close to like 3,000 years. You would know like through like data entries and like hidden notebooks and stuff that were still surviving in the bomb shelters. That place was where the seat of the government lay. That was where that was the place that was the heaviest hit when the bombs fell. You also know that they were experimenting with something called an enigma up in the top of that tower, but you don't know what it means.
All right. I'm gonna keep the enigma part to myself, and I'm just gonna say, well, I can take you there, but I wish you the best of luck getting in. I've tried many times. It's been sealed for near 3,000 years, and I doubt a Nephilim and whatever you are able to get in.
Sirius
Oh,
just sort of
no,
looks
that's-
Who
offended.
knows?
Remar? Sorry?
So yeah, you underestimate our abilities.
Well, it seems you've underestimated me.
We did raid an Archon ship a couple years ago. Those guys have been gone for like 4,000 or 5,000 years. Why can't we raid a place that's been sealed for a couple thousand?
Well, you're welcome to try, but if I lead you there, I expect some profit.
Yeah, we can do that. He looks around at the rest of you,
Seems
sort
fair.
of for confirmation.
Yeah, seems fair.
I nod and say, we need to do a little bit of salvage, and we can see that you are able to get some compensation for it.
Indeed.
I appreciate that, Mr.
Well, I'm a woman.
Mrs. Terribly Sorry, darling.
Oh god.
It's quite all right. My name is Fall, and with Fall,
Fall.
and just be a bit more aware next time, okay?
Will do, darling.
And please stop calling me that.
I knew that would
He'll
happen.
break his arms.
God.
I'm sorry, it's what I normally revert to. I'll call you Fall then. Please, I am Vixalia Vendrew.
Nice to meet you, Vixalia.
And I shake her hand.
Okay. Cool. Do you have... Not gonna do... Okay.
I'm going to roll for the firmness of my hand grasp.
Okay, perfect. Do that too. Yeah, fine, go for it.
Okay.
Okay, sure,
Do
why
you
not?
want me to roll for it too?
Sure, go for it. Let's get a really freaking weird roll in the house here. I didn't actually mean it like that,
Roll that.
but 11? Good God. Okay.
We got a 14.
Holy shit. So you grasp her hand and you sort of shake it, and instantaneously you feel this overwhelmingly powerful grip, like from the other party. This girl, she may look like relatively weak, but she has the strength of a legionnaire.
When she lets go, I just like
at least in my handshake.
Yep.
Yeah, very strong. I'll give you that.
All right. Let's see.
I nod.
Oh, and of
I nod.
course.
This one
Where
here.
are my manners? Nephilim, what is your name?
Queh.
Quick.
Where? Well, that would absolutely do. And I shake his hand.
Good. Roll again, I guess. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit. but nah, I can't reroll that. 5.
God damn. Okay. I mean, do you want to spend a fate point and reroll it again? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
fine.
I'm more civilized towards him. My handshake.
Okay. You feel like kind of
Sounds a
mean
wee
for
bit
doing
sweaty.
that, but yeah.
Completely
Right.
intimidated by me.
Okay, so I guess at that point we'll cut, like the camera will cut to black, and then it fades back in on the party in a city like center. There are several shops like sitting around in a circumference around a massive building that stretches towards the sky. The front of the tower is dark and empty. The former glass-covered and undoubtedly expensive entry is completely blown out. Blast curtains seal the inside and the doors sealed tight. Do any of you guys have an awareness of like beyond 1 or 2?
Not that I know. Oh, +1 to
No.
awareness. Would it be perception
1.
actually?
Okay. Give me a perception roll or an awareness roll. Just because I know that you guys would probably be looking for details on this
All
thing.
of us, or
Feel
Twelve
free.
out of
Any of you guys that would actually be interested. You got an 8?
that's gonna be
13,
ooh,
22.
oh my
Holy
God.
shit! You successfully got a crit on every single possible dice. That is incredible. All right.
That's never gonna happen again.
I am pretty
How are
sure.
you doing that +4?
Okay.
Just questioning. How are you doing that +4?
Me?
+4.
Either of
3
you.
more.
It's awareness plus perception.
Plus
I'm
what?
doing just my plain perception.
Oh, awareness plus perception.
Yep.
Then my roll is plus 4. Give me 1 second. I need to. Actually, I have a 22 as well.
Okay. Rip. So that's a +7. Holy shit. Okay. So all of you guys can tell there is battering on the curtains that suggests there was an extended riot against the occupants. Perhaps a civil war of some kind?
Would me reading through the databanks know anything about this?
Yeah, I'd say that you would, having gone through all the bomb shelters. So on Cerberus, the data pad that you guys got originally was for 2783, right? That was when Cerberus was still relatively stable. Right around 3080, a massive flash came from the tower and tore up the entirety of the planet. Anybody who is there at the time on the streets and not in their factories, their research stations, or underground were obliterated instantaneously. The air was superheated for close to a month, and the sky went black with ash. The survivors eventually banded together when they found out that the occupants of the tower were still alive, and the occupants of the tower launched an extended assault against the occupants on the ground. There was a massive battle that lasted for close to 2 weeks straight, an extended siege on this tower, but nobody ever actually got through. Eventually, they gave up and they all went their own separate ways, and there's next to no real knowledge about what happened after. Only that the planet started to deteriorate around 4000. Most of the occupants were dead. Any like long living characters, Archon, any of those other researched races tried to keep things up, but eventually they abandoned the planet and took off themselves. The last of the Archon that lived on this planet died in the Zion attack in the wars that followed.
Yeah, I'd tell them all this.
Even that, though, the tower still remains sealed for the entire duration. People might still be alive in there for all you know.
I'd like to see them try after free.
Sorry, what?
Is there anything around these like perimeters here?
Is there anything on the perimeters? Well, that's a good point. The perimeters of these buildings, they're mostly just like what looks like original like storefronts and warehouses. There's next to nothing actually inside of the buildings. I'm not even gonna have you guys roll. It's just completely empty. For the most part, there's yeah. So whereabouts are you guys going in particular?
What's over this area here?
Okay, so Remore, you go over here. The doors are sealed. You come upon basically a massive titanium not even, like 20-inch thick steel door. It seems to be completely impervious to attack. There are literal tank shells on the door that have just completely not gone through. There are weapon scars and bullet holes and just hundreds of different kinds of damage on this door, but nothing seems to have penetrated it. Most of the blast doors that have come down are of the same material. Whatever the heck was in here was very, very well guarded.
Any control panels or anything nearby that I can see?
Give me an awareness roll. I'm going to say above 10, because this is a hidden item. 16. Wow. Okay. Oh, wait, no. Oh. 16. There you go. Yeah. So you find inside of the door, like, there's a small, like, crack in one of the portions of the door that seems to have, like, been hidden behind a massive panel. You close your fingers around close to a 3-inch thick steel panel and slide it to the side to reveal a military-grade key lock. There is a swipe portion, or there's a swipe point for a key card.
Right, I'm gonna pull out that card I had.
Yep.
And just, give it a go.
The door slides open. Dust spills out. It's almost like mist on the floor in front of you, and it's very dark inside.
Where's the engineer?
Where's the engineer?
Yeah.
He's here. Okay, let me see if I can.
I can never
Oops, Daisy.
Just saying, I can't move my own character, can I?
Not right yet. I'm trying to figure out what to do there. Actually,
Just asking.
I'm gonna just do that. Nope. That works. Sure. Apparently, I can't really reveal areas because that just means. Oh, nope, never mind. I got it. So, the area within is a small, dark, what looks like a reception room. There is basically like a table that's like spans nearly 3/4 of the room. It is circular, ellipses, and it is like closed and sort of crumbled on the floor. There's some rubble nearby, lots of damage, but like not really as much as you might expect from like 3,000 years of sealing.
What are these up here?
Those are elevators or like escalators that lead to a second floor.
Right. I'm gonna go up to the table and just kind of look around it.
Okay. You You have a look around. There's nothing like item wise that might catch your attention, but there's like a newspaper clipping on the table that says basically like tower sealed, wars break out across the entire planet, Cerberus under siege, civil war, that kind of thing.
Right.
Hey, Juno, go away.
How do you
Go
do
away.
that?
Are there any working data pads that I can possibly
Nope.
find to see if we can get some more information?
There's nothing in this room other than
Okay.
the reception desk.
There's no way I'll put these escalators here.
Yeah. Everything else is basically just quarter-inch thick steel and linoleum mostly.
Three. There's three escalators, so you want
Where are you
I'll
going?
go left.
Yep.
up the escalators.
Yep.
I'll go up this
You go
way.
left. Yep. Anybody else? Where are you gonna be going, Mr. Nephilim?
Me?
Yeah.
I already said I was going left.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
And that guy will go middle. So you guys go up, and it's the same as always. I need to reveal this. What am I gonna reveal? Can't really reveal this. Can't really. God, I'm having some struggles here, guys. Areas. Nope. Reveal areas. Cool. Right. So you go up and you expect to find something interesting. You find a sealed door with a key card, lock, and a carpet. There is like a glass window on either side of this place, and the one on the right is black. Seems to go down a fair distance.
Okay.
You took the escalators for quite some time. You think you might be like 10, 11 stories up?
Can I search the room?
Yeah. There's nothing in it. There's a carpet. The glass on either side of you, the one on the right is tinted, not black.
Can I see through it?
Sure, give me an awareness roll.
15.
Okay. You can just barely see a small bit of like brown down below, like almost like a dusty brown color. And there's like a dead tree.
So I see a dead tree.
You see a dead tree and what looks like some really long dead grass.
Okay. Hey, there's looks to be some kind of indoor park in there, but it looks very, very not alive.
I'd like to go over and have a look at this. I
Alright.
haven't seen much vegetation forever.
Okay. You look out and yeah, it's what looks like some kind of vegetation of some kind. What looks like a dead tree, some dead grass. Oops, the entire building shifts slightly to the right. Yeah, it
Wow.
looks like there's just some dead plants down there.
Is this the glass that's tinted, and on the other side it's black? Yeah.
On the other side's basically just dark. You needed to get really up close to see what was beyond it, and that was just the park.
All right. What's in
It's
the
like a
other side
courtyard.
then?
On the other side, you see like part of a door or like part of like a wall. At the far corner of the room is a door. It is sealed. It has a keycard lock.
Do you want? Would you like to try the other key card? maybe the keycard from before would work.
Give it a shot. Which
The
one?
door opens.
Hmm. Maybe
There's
it
a
was so bad
hallway.
after all.
There's a hallway leading off to the right, and then like really far. And then there's like a break, and it goes down somewhere.
Let's send Sirius first.
Sorry, what?
Just send Sirius the flashlight first.
Okay. The hallway itself, because I haven't actually spec'd that part out. There is a long linoleum hallway. It's white tile and white walls, white ceiling, completely sterile. Looks like almost like even like a hospital bay level of just nothing. There are some doors leading off of them with like names on them, but they're in English or like whatever this weird language is that most of humanity used. And you don't really have the ability to read anything. Several of the doors are still sealed.
Are they still like keycard sealed or
No, they're just straight up like they're closed doors.
can't open them now?
Searching rooms.
You could. There's handles on them.
All right. First door on the left. Then I'll open. Have a wee peer in.
Okay. It looks like an office, like a small person's office. There's a window leading out into the destruction beyond. There's a very dead-looking doctor laying against a desk with like he's like toppled over like a globe which like shattered on the ground. There's some like photos on the table next to him. He's got like glasses on the table next to him, and he's got like a really ripped up looking rug, or like a really deteriorated looking rug.
I'm gonna start going through the desk, see if there's anything, and I would like to use telepathy to talk to the other Niflim. How do you pronounce it again?
Nephilim.
And I just want to say Niflim. Hey, there's something in here.
I'm gonna follow him in.
Okay. The desk doesn't really contain much. There's just a couple credit chips, maybe 300, 400 credits total. Seems like a couple small document sheets that detail like experiments. Like it's all written in a language you can barely understand. On his desk is another data pad.
Can I before
Or inside the bottom drawer, rather.
Niflim, before the other Niflim comes in, can I take the 400 credits and stash them in my pocket quickly?
Go for it.
I
Add 400 credits to your
measure
account.
up just easily enough.
Yep. And there's that data pad in the bottom drawer if you want to do anything with that.
I'm gonna take it out and just gonna hold it.
Okay.
But this time, I'd assume he comes in.
Well, I'm gonna walk over and like kind of start inspecting the data pad.
It opens.
You-
Oh, what?
I was gonna hand it to him. Yes, you would be a wee bit more experienced with this thing. I'm not much for the technology, and I hold my bow.
My dog is attacking me. So the data pad turns on. And there's like that similar familiar writing that starts like crawling across the screen that slowly gets translated. And it says Research Log 17A. Progress on the Enigma is going well. They see they show us maps and star charts unlike anything we've ever seen before. This is incredible. This can change everything if we let it. the Star Treader is just one possibility. There are thousands, millions of precursor artifacts here. This is impossibly complicated procedure. Like, this is incredible. And then the data entry ends, and there's like a next, like an arrow for a next chapter.
Yeah, just go flick to that.
Okay. The next chapter reads, "The Enigma is giving off light. It seems like it pulsates with a vibrant spectrum of colors and shapes, and words assault our minds. They show us places far from here, far beyond what we have. They show us threats that we couldn't even imagine. It concerns us. One of us say that they have been hearing a humming from the Enigma. He's mad. He must be. There's no way." There's another arrow.
Let's keep going then.
Data entry 3100. The dark beyond calls. I need to find what exactly I called it. The blackened gate waits in shadowed space. The consortium follow us. They track us. They are us. The black ships on the horizon touch down every once in a while. They search for something and they take off again. There's no one left but me. Nobody left. And then the data entry ends.
I guess we know who the consortium are now.
Yep. They haven't been around for just one session.
What are these black ships that this is talking about?
From what this is saying, they belong to the consortium, which are
They're-
or related to them, I assume. Somewhere. Like a break-off faction, I'd imagine. That's one thing. Maybe fanatic. So I assume what we see here.
I wonder what they were searching for.
I guess we'll find out.
Sirius sort of half grins. He's like, "We can't tell him, can we?"
Probably.
I would like to use telepathy
Okay.
and directly contact Sirius and say, "Tell me what."
He looks a little bit taken aback, and then his eyes sort of grow hard. He says, "If I told you what I know, they will come for you as well." And he gives a wink, and he goes back to completely normal. He
Believe
looks.
me at that.
Yeah, he looks at the rest of the party, and he's like, "Seems like we're not the first ones." And he sort of nods to himself. He's like, "That's a comfort at least. Maybe they at least found a way to shake him." And then he points back down the hallway. Maybe we should take a look further.
Yeah, just keep searching rooms.
The rest of the
Sure.
rooms. Oop. Fall?
I answer serious. Sure, we can keep looking.
He nods. All right. The rest of the rooms are sealed except for maybe one or two. Most of those rooms are empty offices or like bed chambers. One bed chamber in particular has a very, very decomposed body laying in the corner. Seems like even before this place had been sealed the time and space, that body had already been decomposing. That's a little creepy. There you can see through one door with like a window on it. There are like a series of glass jars in the room beyond, but they've broken open and there's like plants growing through the glass jars and like starting to overtake the rest of the facility. There's like a pulsating, faint, very faded red light that sort of just pulses on and off and on and off. But other than that, there's basically nothing. Eventually, you come to a very large pair of sealed double doors. They don't have they have a key card lock, and it says occupied.
I say, stand back. I've got this, and I'd like to pull it. I'd like to pull out one of the satchel charges, place
Okay.
it against the door.
Okay. So he takes a piece of what looks like a brown bag, like a linen bag filled with something, and he places it against the wall, and it seals to the wall, and he steps back.
I would advise you all, as you may say,
I step
fuck
back
off.
as well.
Yeah.
I start giggling a little bit. I get a wee bit
God.
twitchy with explosives. Like I'm holding the remote in my hand.
Oh God.
Click it.
Oh God. Okay. So there is an explosion that blows both doors off of its hinges and into the side of the room. The room itself basically it nearly knocks over a table. A small fire starts in the room that you guys have to quickly tamp out. The room beyond, there is nobody in there, or there were people in there, but they're now basically just laid sprawled all over the table. There is a dead body in the very front of the table, right about here, you could say. It is a man. His white mask shattered, his black cloak draped behind him, shattered on the ground. There's a blaster hole through his back, and he lay face down on the floor. He has black hair. His skin is almost white pale. The rest of the people who are in the room, there is a man in a red military uniform with a pistol. He is slumped back in his chair, eyes sort of smiling, grin on his face, with blood sort of dried on the side of his head out of one of his ears. His blaster is pointed outwards, and he's got a death grip on it. There are 3 other officials that look like military officials sprawled across the table, most of them dead. There's one guy who's sort of there's definitely one other dead dude, and then there's somebody. There's a tank in the far corner of the room that's blue. Just basically a straight, solid blue color.
I'd like to walk over to the man with the death grip on the pistol and just rummage through his pockets, see what he has.
This man was the highest military ranking official on the planet. His name was also Saika, and it was also Revan. He looks completely identical to the man you saw in that bomb shelter.
Oh.
I wasn't at the bomb shelter.
Yep. Well, okay, you see a man with a name tag with the name Revan Saika written on it. He has sandy, dark brown hair. He's about 7 foot. He seems of Asian descent. He is male. He is relatively tall. He has a red military surcoat. The pistol that he wields is old
I'm assuming
model.
he's dead, yes?
Very dead. Very dead.
But his skin hasn't decomposed, has it?
The skin has actually tightened around his face.
Oh, I see. So he's
Think
getting there.
Yeah, think Ice Age stuff, where you find a person who's been preserved in a block of ice, and they're completely fine looking. Basically
Okay.
that. You look at the glass tank. I am assuming that's what you're doing. There is a person in there. She is breathing.
Oh God.
A panel on A panel on the bottom of the tank says life signs 1.
I pull out my bow and I train it at it. I said, "Don't move."
The name on the bottom of that panel says Helen Psycho.
Huh. Alright. Serious, do you reckon we can wake her up?
He looks at you. He says, "That I could." He wanders over to the tank. He looks at it. He looks at the panel on the underneath, and he like taps it, and it basically lifts up on like hydraulics, and shows like a really complicated array of buttons. We're talking like 80 or 90 here. And Sirius looks at it. He gives like a half chuckle. He's like, these primitive damn computers. And he taps one button, and there is like the sound of flushing liquid, and the tank beside the one that you were looking at fills up with liquid, and a woman basically slumps to the glass. She's completely naked. um, dark, dark brown, almost black hair, pale skin, very human, and she is breathing heavily.
I'm gonna pull one of the jackets off the military guys and kind of.
The door is still sealed, by the way. He sort of unseals the door, and she sort of flops onto the floor, sort of pushes herself up and opens her eyes and starts like panting really heavily.
Falls
Going
your
to
own
train my
execution.
bow on her.
Okay.
Not gonna fire, just saying it's there.
Okay. She looks up. She looks at you. She says, "What are you? Where am I? What time? What?" And she's just goes like completely wide-eyed, and she starts like hyperventilating. She like backs up against the tank and just sort of crumples down to the floor.
I'll put my bow away then.
Mhm.
I don't feel like she will be afraid of much. I'll say,
Yep.
"What is your name?"
Helen Psycho. I was the wife of military commander Revan. Who are you? What are you? You none of you are human. What? How long have I been out?
We're assuming
Pretty long
free.
time.
The year currently is 14,780. And the last data entry that you had was 2,800 or so.
Let's
So-
let's not tell her how long she's been out, okay? We don't need her freaking out on us.
She's sort of like, she's like shuddering already. She seems pretty afraid of you. She's like,
Let's just
"We
say
created
we,
monsters. We Archons, the main creation. What are you? Archons were supposed to be the only ones we made. When she shudders, she like closes her eyes and she says, "I need a moment. What time is this?"
the year 4,000.
The year is 17,000 or so.
Yeah, 17,000.
She just goes like limp. She's like, "That's it then. I'm the last." She shakes her head.
Can I walk up? Can I try like
Hmm.
slowly walk up to her and so I could try and check and see if she's okay, like just vitals wise?
She's fine vital-wise, but her heart rate is rapidly accelerating. She seems to be like in a state of almost like shock. Not anaphylactic shock. That's not yet kicked in, but it almost seems like hypothermia. She's gonna need some medical attention.
Okay. Can I roll for that?
Sure, give me a first aid roll.
on, let me get my character.
Or rather, a medical. There is like literally a thing for first aid, but I don't remember where it is. Healing, first aid, stops bleeding. Paramedics to heal any 3. Okay. Okay. Give me a roll of 10 or better. Or no, 12 or better.
Roll?
Yeah, give me a medicine roll.
Hold on 1 second. $15.
You look at her and you say, and you like immediately suss out what's wrong with her. You motion for Sirius, who's been carrying like basically a backpack full of supplies, and he pulls out like medical kits and stuff, and you very quickly like start treating whatever you can with this hypothermia. She blacks out about midway through, and eventually her heart rate basically spikes and then it stabilizes. She'll be fine for now, but she is
Okay.
definitely out.
Okay.
Is she alright?
She's okay. She went into a bit of shock, but her heart's starting to lower. Her heart rate's starting to lower. She seems to be okay.
Good. Well, her husband's obviously dead. I assume this will be a big take for her, but she could be a valuable piece of information. What do you say we do?
Hey, Juno. Weapons? Sorry, what? What are you doing?
So we take one with us because she might be useful for some information.
Sirius will nod his head.
I'd like to make sure that she's okay once she wakes up.
Well, I say we find some better clothes for her, and I look around. Is there any female officers here?
There is a female scientist-looking fellow in like a beige jacket with like a white blouse, black pants, not a skirt. Just general clothing. Seems like it's built more for function than anything else.
I say we strip that one down and dress her up.
Sirius looks away. He's like, I'll be out of the room. And he sort of exits.
Is there anything on this female scientist?
There is actually a single syringe. It seems sealed, and there is like a murky green, almost like really dark green substance floating around in it. It almost glows slightly. Can I get you to roll me an intelligence check? Or no. Give me a medicine check.
Medicine. What have I got from medicine? That is, oh my god, a 2.
Fair enough. I mean, honestly, that's still enough. This is a vial of, I think it's called a neurostim. Basically, it provides a healing of about 3 endurance damage, but you can't, like, move or do anything for a full turn after. Basically, it's like adrenaline shot.
Fair enough, that'll do. Neurosim, yeah?
Yep, neurostim. You can get them with a spare time roll of about 12.
Fair enough. Anything else on her?
Nope. Nothing else, really. some boots. Nice leather, sturdy. Might actually be pretty useful for you.
I'll take
Nephilim
them.
Nephilim bodies tend to be very gender neutral. They tend to be a lot slimmer, but they're
I was about to say squishy.
a little bit, yeah.
What?
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 Huh? All right. This is immediately an awkward silence. Yeah. So you take the boots. They're really well crafted leather to have held up for like 13,000 years. They're definitely like fraying at the edges though. They might last you a couple of months.
Are they better than what I have on now?
Definitely. I'd say they probably provide you with an extra armor.
Alright, I'm putting them on.
Yeah. Cool. Add 1 armor to your character sheet.
Sweet. I have like leather boots.
I don't know.
Is there
What?
I know there are any more boots like that.
No. This is just on this one scientist. Apparently, she was trying to be a trendsetter. A lot of this society seems to be very focused on function above like fashion. A lot of like most of the clothing that you can see on anybody in this room are very functional, very well made, very well protective. The boots on the military captain are a black leather as well, and this one actually seems to have like a little bit of like iron plating in it, but this dude is sort of locked in place. You would need to move him aside and like actually strip him bare if you want to get these things off of him. And you
Can
don't
I
know what
try
a
to-
bunch of what?
I was gonna say, could I try to search the other 2 people remaining in the room?
You find 1 other neurostim and maybe 100 credits between the 3 of them. Like vending machine fodder, basically. Like think of it like you're picking pockets and you find a couple loonies and a toonie somewhere.
Fair enough. Is there anything that you feel like we should do before we leave here?
Possibly. We ought to check the rest of the room. We're only really searching bodies right now, but other than that, looks like she's probably the one we came for. I don't know how the hell this enigma works, but
No, we got what we needed. I
possibly.
say, grab
Uh,
what you can and let's go.
No, we've got to search the rest of the tower.
one more thing.
Anything else?
Grim, your datapad pings.
I look at it.
There's a new location.
Okay.
It's roughly another month away, and it passes past some other space. I need to actually like work out where exactly this would be, but it's your next location that you need to go.
Okay. Do I have like my own personal data pad other than the human
Yep.
one?
Yep. I'd say you do.
I pull out the other data pad and I copy down the information
Okay.
very quickly because I know how fast it was last time.
Give me. I write down E72-AX7 for me.
What am I doing?
Write down the word. I write down the code E72-AX7. It appears on the screen pretty prominently, but you don't know what it means. Right. How long have we been doing
Repeat
this?
that real quick. The code.
E72-AX7.
E as in Edgar.
Edgar.
Se-
7.
E as in Edgar. 72 Alpha X-ray 7.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Right. Okay. Right about here is where I'm gonna probably pause to take a break for a minute. Everybody, feel free to do what you need. I'm gonna pause this real quick. I'll come back in a minute. Thanks for watching, guys.
Can I
Problem.
sleep?
What? Possibly.
I guess sleep.
Well, we're probably gonna end this really shortly, anyways. I'm just needing to A, deal with this dog, and B, just wanting to use the bathroom and stuff.
No problem, that'll do.
Cool. Feel free to go and do what you guys need to. I'm just gonna use the bathroom and be back in a minute.
Fair enough.
Right.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom as well. Oh.
Dog, do you want to go outside? Is that what you're doing? I need to pee first.
Hello?
Pancakes. Baking a pancake. Eating pancake. Right, this is gonna get really cool in a second, guys. I've come up with what to do. Just pouring water, putting down a plate of food, and putting this away.
I'm eating a popsicle. like, I'm not saying hurry up, but it is 2 o'clock in the morning for me, so
Sorry, what?
Hmm?
Huh?
I'm not saying like, you know, end it right now, but it is 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Just
You got maybe 15 minutes left of just general
Oh.
talking before the end.
I was gonna ask. Actually, I'll type it.
Mhm. Right.
I
So
said it was quite fun.
it is.
Yeah.
It's been really, really. It's been really cool having you on. It's like you're a god.
Well, I wouldn't say live up to the standard of Map Master,
Mm,
but
mm,
I do what I can. Like, I try and give monsters like their own voices and such.
mm, mm,
Although it just ends up like really weird. But anyway, it's fun. It's fun for me to do it. I
mm,
like
mm.
creating wee surprises. I like giving people loot if they earned it. And I like punishing people if they've been bad.
You're right. I like it too. Right. How's everybody looking? Everybody's back here? Grim, Remor?
I think Rumor was doing something.
Grim, are you there? Hello? Oh.
I'm here.
Oh, mate. Okay, I was about to say something really, really bad, so... I was about to say something that might spoil a potential portion of the next, like, 15 minutes or so, so... Thank God you caught me. Right. We are live in about... Once I'm finished this pancake. Sorry. I like food. Food is good.
I'm making a popsicle, so food is indeed good.
Mm-hmm. Great, we're good. We're back on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, welcome back, guys. Sorry, break is over. We just went off to go and grab our stuff. I grabbed pancakes, another guy grabbed popsicles. We're all just generally doing things. This last portion of the session will be about 15 minutes, and it's just general talking. So if you guys don't like RP, feel free to drop. There might be a bit of combat if what I have planned happens, but I need to roll for that, so don't worry too much. Okay, so we return at the site of a there's a room, dark, sort of empty, with blackened windows. we come at it from the outside, so it looks like it's completely falling apart. And then we pass through, and then we have the party staying over a now clothed but still unconscious one laying on the floor. What are you guys doing?
Can I take one of the other jackets that one of the military men had and fold it up to make a makeshift pillow?
Sure, go for it.
Get another one and like cover, like make a blanket kind of.
Sure, feel free.
In case of forehead.
Oh. At that, she wakes up.
Oh, sorry, darling.
She looks at you. She shakes her head. She's like,
True love's kiss?
I suppose. I'm sorry. I was rather out of sorts. My name, Helen. My name is Helen. Psycha.
And my name is Vexalia. Pleasure, as always.
It is interesting to see that the naming conventions for our races haven't changed as much in the past 13,000 years.
But a shock that was, wasn't it?
Yes, I was told by Revan that I would be waking up in about 100 years after everybody had died off. Bombs were going to start dropping, you see. They had a plan to stop the black ships and the searching. I see it didn't happen.
Black ships?
The black ships, yes. They're the consortium's drop ships. When they show up, the consortium will come with them.
What is the consortium?
She looks at the cloaked body with the white shattered mask. She says, we only encountered them once we cracked the enigma. They aren't human by any means, but they can possess humans, and they can possess hosts. I don't suppose any of you are human anymore, so I suppose that's safe. They probably died out thousands of years ago. I don't know why I'm even telling you about this, but the black ships.
I perk up. I perk up at they probably died out thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
Not so much.
She frickin' pales. She's like, that you've seen them then.
Yes.
They
had
are
a bit of a run-in.
they are galactic horrors from beyond the stars. They consume like a plague. They sweep across the star systems. They were what led to humanity's fall. They and the genetic breakdown of our race quickly led to a complete annihilation. If the consortium are back, it means someone has found another enigma, haven't they? Judging by the fact that you are here, I assume those people are you.
Honestly, I bits of that.
Yeah, Sam.
Do you need information on the enigma?
Of course, darling. Fill us in, why don't you?
In fact, do you need an enigma? I don't need mine. She nods. She smiles slightly. Hates, genuinely afraid smile from behind whatever mask she's currently putting on. She looks at you, and she sort of shakes her head and she says, God help whoever picks up these, but I will show you the way. Please follow me. And she gets up unsteadily, very shakily.
I offer help because I want to make sure that she's okay.
Okay. She takes your hand very gratefully and sort of stands, leans against you. She says, is there something that I can lean against? It seems like my legs aren't properly working right now.
You can lean against me, darling.
She looks at you. She's like, No, no, thank you.
Just here. But I offer my arm to like
Mm.
offer my arm as like a basically to lean on.
Okay, yeah, sure. She'll do that. It's just that the emissaries and Nephilim look a little bit creepy to her, and she's not entirely sure why, but she probably doesn't trust them. I'm gonna basically
Can I
consider them
use-
like corp, right? So prejudice from corporation.
Can I use telepathy on her?
Sure. What are you gonna say to her?
I'm just gonna say that not like I'm gonna use a different voice, or can I use a different voice? How does telepathy work? Does it come
It's-
off as my voice?
It is probably your voice, yes.
All right.
I wouldn't
was
sort
gonna
of think
say-
that you could disguise it.
I was gonna try and mimic the other Nephilim's voice.
Oh,
instead
fair
of
enough.
racist.
Oh, rip. Nah, it's not that.
All right, so it just comes out just my voice, yeah.
Yeah. She looks at you. She says, "It has been 13,000 years. Whatever races still exist in this universe, I can't trust any of them. I have memory in my head
We
of
just
most of
saved
humanity's.
you. I gave you those clothes, and I gestured to.
I still can't trust you as much as I'd like. We've been betrayed before." She points at the black cloaked figure on the ground. Even our most trusted advisors can turn out to be betrayers. She nods to herself, and then she sort of like perks up again, and she's like, "Right, the lab. Let me show you, please."
Can I ask her about about the clones?
What?
Can I ask her about the clones? Because we found a clone of her husband.
She looks at you, and she says, "I have no idea what you're talking about. There was only one of them, and he is in this room."
No, there's another version of him in a bunker. Exactly the same.
She sort of narrows her eyes. She's like, "That shouldn't be possible." She pales. She's like,
13,000 years, that's a lot, darling.
she pales. She says, "The consortium can create hosts.
Yeah,
They're here. We need to hurry." And she like rushes into the hallway, like basically sprints.
I was gonna ask, and I'm sorry to interrupt story, but what is the enigma again?
So,
Or-
giving them a general description, they actually don't know what the enigma is. So basically, the enigma is a mysterious artifact that took out most of Africa around 2700. It was built, and it's sort of just, it's an artifact that leads them to certain locations in a quest for what seems to be some kind of planetary ship, but judging by the data entry that you guys just found, there's probably far more to it than even that. It never actually described the visual description of the item, so you honestly probably just know that it's a trail finder, in a sense.
I wouldn't know that it's a weapon of mass destruction now.
Probably not, no.
Fair enough. Continue on. Sorry, I just wanted to know.
Okay. My dog might have ran. Oh no, she's still here. Fine. Okay. I was like, my dog might have just ran away. I'm not sure what's going on, but no, she's jumping against the fence and bouncing around like an idiot. So she leads you down the hallway, and she comes to one of those sealed doors that you saw, the one with all the plant life, and she unseals it, and immediately some of the plant life surges out and attempts to attack her. I'm gonna roll 3d6 to see if they hit her. Right. Wow, okay. Well, so that would be 14 or so. Okay. So this plant life just surges out and launches itself at her, and she basically drops in like a military style crouch and rolls to the side. And this plant beast made of like several like glass jars and pots and stuff stands up on legs made of like vines, and I kid you not, it starts roaring at you and charges at you. Can I get some of you guys to roll me combat order?
All right. What's my initiative?
Just roll 3d6. Highest point goes first.
I feel
Well.
like that is good.
That is incredible. Okay. Grim? Still waiting on you. Cool. That's 6. Right. So the order is going to be 8, 18, 13, and 6. So foam. 8. Read more. And what was your name again?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, VEX and then an apostrophe AHLIA.
Okay. Right.
Yes, I'm a critical role nerd. Get over it.
No, it's fine. It's just like I heard it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is a Critical Role reference. Yeah, I know it is.
3d5. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. So 13. So Remor, you're tied with Sirius. Which one do you want to go first?
Who's got the highest reflex?
My reflexes are 4.
3.
I've got 3.
Okay, so I say Sirius will probably go first.
Yep.
Right. So we start at the top of the initiative order with Vixalia. There is a plant beast standing in the center of the room on like coiled up plant legs, yelling at you in some whatever angry language it speaks.
Okay. Can I take out one of the? Can I take out my final remaining satchel charge?
Okay.
Prep it in my hand. Can I try and throw it at the beast?
Okay. Doesn't it take an action to set up?
It may do. I'm not exactly sure. Let me check. Load 2. Yes, it takes like my full thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pull it out and then get ready to throw it.
Okay, I just need to write up a weapon. So next up is probably going to be Sirius. Sirius will take a pot shot at it. I'll roll 3d6 / roll 3d6. My Siri just opened up. Oh, okay, Sirius. Right, that explains a lot, actually. That's 9 to hit. I'm gonna roll for the monster. And I'm going to say -2. 8. So Sirius hits. He deals 4 damage. And is there any crits on that? No, just 4. Okay. So he takes 4 damage, 2 endurance. 26. Cool. That's good. Wait, no, he gets he takes away defense, right?
What was it? You take away armor before you start taking away endurance points.
Okay.
Not endurance points, but attribute points.
Okay, so he is at 6 armor. And his endurance is at 30. Okay. Next up is going to be Remor.
Wait. Is that right? How many actual points did
He took 4 points of damage.
How much attribute damage do you take?
None yet.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say yeah. Right, okay, well I'm gonna do a combat roll forward and then try and shoot it in that bilbo launcher.
Okay. Give me a roll and tell me what the end damage is. I'll roll as well.
And damage is
6. Nice. 15. Brilliant.
and I get a 1 sec. I get a crit for that as well.
Strong hit.
So
Yep.
that- yeah.
Uh.
15, 17.
mhm. Oh, okay. So critical hit. You deal your weapons critical damage. So you do 3 or whatever to a random roll a d6 attribute. So the target takes attribute damage. What are you going to be aiming for with that?
I'm just gonna be aiming at the main part then.
Okay. 3. That's going against movement. Okay. That's kind of brilliant. What does your crit damage do?
My crit damage does 2 damage.
Okay.
I believe, yeah, 2 crit.
This is at 1 movement. Good. Okay. So basically, Remor, do you want to describe how you did this, or will I?
It's fine, I can describe it. So yeah, I just kind of rolled forward in a combat roll,
Mm.
and then crouching on near, kind of burst the gun and then fired a shot of acid at the main stem of the plant.
Okay.
And then melting.
Okay. Okay. I'll say gain a spare time point for good roleplay. The creature like reels back and basically roars. Some of the acid actually melts away most of its legs. It's standing on like very shaky, thin tendrils of plants.
Oh wait. Strong hit, 5-6 versus targets.
5, 6.
Also does burning damage. Yeah.
Also does burning damage. Okay, so I guess that's damage over time. Your crit damage is what? Or sorry, what is your end damage?
I don't know. It says strong hit 5 to 6 versus target.
Mm. What is your endurance damage though?
Endurance damage is 6.
I'm gonna say it takes 6 damage on the next turn.
Oh god. Poor thing.
Yep. So his armor will be gone next turn. Next up, we are looking at the monster. So the monster like roars in anger. It charges you, Remor, and it attempts to use a claw on you. I'm gonna roll 3d6. You roll yours. See who beats it.
Is this plus reflex?
Yeah, give me plus reflexes. Monster probably doesn't have any reflexes. It's a monster made of plants. Very large, very bulky. Okay, wow. So it attempts to swipe a claw at you. You very easily dodge out of the way, roll, get up, have your weapon ready. Pretty much, yeah. If you rolled any higher, I probably would have said you actually do like a vault over the thing's shoulders and then land behind it. But for now, it is definitely you're definitely in avoidance of it. Next up, we've got Fall. Fall, what are you gonna be doing?
I'm gonna pull out my ion rifle
Okay.
and fire at the beast.
Okay. Give me a roll as usual.
A what roll?
Give me just a straight roll. Maybe actually, yeah. Isn't it like you add your weapons to it too?
Which one?
Add your weapon modifier that you're using. What kind of weapon you're using?
Then it would be a 12, but that's 2 strong hits on it. So
Okay.
I would boost it up to 14.
Okay, fair enough. So that's versus 14. I'm gonna re-roll one stat because it probably doesn't know any better. 1. Nice. Okay, so it like you take a shot at it. It it like pierces through it, and the thing like there's a moment where like it completely resists it, and it sort of like roars at you, and then it stumbles and crashes to the ground. What damage does your weapon do, endurance wise?
Endurance 3.
What are your crits?
Well, I get a strong hit from 5 or 6.
Oh shit.
So yeah.
Okay.
So I have 2 strong hits.
Okay.
How,
What
how
amount
much
of damage?
endurance does it have right now?
Its endurance is currently 30, and its armor is gone.
All right. I'm only gonna take a critical hit and deal 4 crit damage.
So that's gonna be 7 total damage to this thing. So that's 23.
Okay.
Cool.
Doesn't
Next.
Doesn't it take attribute damage?
It's versus its endurance, right?
Critical hit.
Critical hit. Oh, right. 4 attribute damage. Roll me a d6. Oh, yeah. Just roll me a d6. Sorry, this is my first time ever doing this. This is like still me being a complete
There you
noob.
go.
All right, 5. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Intelligence, nice. It doesn't have much of that to begin with. So you deal 4 damage to its intelligence, the poor thing. I'd say with that, honestly, you don't even need to go any further. It's so dumb that it probably just breaks back into a bunch of smaller plants and goes back to normal. Yeah, I'd say that you raise your how do you want to do this? I suppose if we're pulling a critical roll.
I depending where am I in relation to this thing?
Say you've got okay, I'll move us all back to the main room, by the way, because this is pretty much over. Move back to the start. So say you've got a hallway right about where is a marker? Here like this. And
I only need to know if I'm like right up next to it or if
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
or
you're
if
right
I'm
next to it.
I'm right next to it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I aim about where the head would be.
Okay.
I scoot around to like the side of it, aim about where the head would be, and fire.
Yep.
A burst of ion energy going through the damn thing.
Okay.
And out the other side.
Okay. So the thing basically
like a blast of light goes through it, and you see the light spray out the back.
Okay.
Along with a bunch of wood chips.
Okay, fair enough. So the thing stumbles, it starts to do something, and then just there's a sudden moment where it's like sort of collapses, and then there's just plants everywhere. There are like it just vines all collapse to the ground and sort of lay still. It's plants now. It's not got any intelligence anymore. It's so dumb it can't do anything, so it just turned back into what it was originally made of. So
Well, that was interesting. It seems you two are very capable of yourselves.
Indeed.
I'm gonna put the satchel charge away.
Okay. Helen looks at the creature. She's like, that was an experiment I didn't think would ever actually work. Amazing how things like that happen. Yes, the enigma, it's in here. And she like pushes past this all the plants blocking the entryway into a very dark room. She fumbles around for a light switch and sort of curses when she doesn't find any. She pokes her head back out of the room. She's like, do any of you have a flashlight? Anyone? Torch? Something?
Sirius does. A nice slightly glow.
Those would both be very useful, yes.
Well, I have a torch.
Do you? Out of character? Seriously? Okay.
Yeah, we're just low light by 2.
Okay, fair enough, yeah. So
It's like an arm torch, so it's like a torch that's strapped to my arm.
okay. Okay.
Because it says Gauntlet 2 torch, reduce low light by 1.
Alright, fair enough. So it's like a flashlight attachment for my gun. Alright, so I guess at that point she'll just wave both of you guys, I mean both of us over. Sirius wanders up and sort of flicks on his flashlight. Do you do anything as well? Or
I turn on the flashlight on my arm and I hold it out, like, just right in front of me and start walking in and said, anything for you, darling.
fair enough.
And I wink at her.
There's a slight hint of something there where she's like, huh, he seems interesting. But she doesn't really do anything beyond that. She looks around and basically, like, this place is a lab. This was what looks like your standard high school science lab. So you have like the tables and you have all the beakers and stuff set up on the tables. You've got like isolation chambers and stuff that automatically seal, and then you've just got like plants overgrowing everything. However, in the corner of the room, there is a small wrought iron cube. There is inscriptions on this cube in strange foreign script that glow red slightly as it sits there. It pulsates with light occasionally. Both you, Fall and Vixalia, you both hear voices in your mind that speak of strange secrets and forgotten treasures. They promise things that you want to have. They make offers that you can't pass up.
Can I try and... I mean, being a simple, weak-minded man that I am, I would probably head towards the thing.
Okay. I'm going to start playing Abyssal Gaze, because that's probably appropriate. As
I am,
you...
in trance right now.
Yep. As you move closer, the cube responds to your presence. The red light flashes and glows brighter, the light spilling out into the hallway. It starts growing brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter until eventually you guys are basically blinded. And then there's a flash and an explosion, and there's a shockwave that blows out as part of the walls. You, Vexalia, are blown back about 30 feet into a table and knocked out. Everybody else in the room, I want you guys to make me reflex rolls with strength, I'd say.
So a strength roll.
Yeah, basically. Reflex roll with strength. Oh no. Oh
Actually,
no.
Hold on.
I think I survived that.
Remore just might have, but Faye is not looking good.
I'm fixing that. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough. Remore, I am sad to say you missed it by 1. You're blown literally out of the room into the hallway and against the wall. You find yourself blacking out as well.
Is this an energy hit?
This is a shockwave. This isn't just energy. This is something beyond even that. This is a power that you've probably never even felt before. And you are the only one who's actually standing after all this. The cube slowly...
Lost you for a minute there.
What?
Lost you for a minute there.
Okay. You're the only one still standing from this. The energy is not, it isn't actually like an energy blast. It's just a shockwave. It's like a blast of nothingness. A blast of, like, antimatter, almost. Like, something is so dark and cold and dangerous that it makes you barely able to stand, even after resisting it.
Okay.
The cube rises in front of you and starts to shift and spin. and there is the lights from the actual inscriptions start like moving with it, making like light trails, and eventually it comes to a stop. The red light turns blue, and it basically floats over to you and starts circling around your head. You feel a voice in your head. You hear a voice in your head, and it says, "Mine," and that's it.
I hear a voice in my mind, and that's it.
Pretty much, it just says "mine," like possessive.
Okay.
All I'm thinking of is the seagulls from Finding Nemo.
Wait. So wait, no. So the energy floats around my head, and I hear a voice in my head that goes, "Mine."
Pretty much, yeah.
What was that? My foreign speaking at it, or
No, it's literally the cube. It is like a grating metal sort of voice that just says, "Mine." And then, I guess, yeah, you do have a Farin with you, don't you? The Farin would probably try to talk back to it.
the foreign retorts, "No,
Yeah.
mine."
Basically.
Whatever foreign it has.
Pretty much, yeah. It's probably like you can sense like a tension between the cube and whatever is inside of you.
I feel I feel the foreign just goes, just like bristles and it's like the bristles and it's like basically baring its teeth.
Yeah. The cube is like the cube seems mostly just curious. It doesn't really know what anger is or defensiveness. It doesn't have a personality or any knowledge beyond what it knows. So it just sort of like sits there and floats.
Okay.
Your datapad fully decrypts. There is a blueprint on it for a warp drive. There's also script that basically details the makings of a very powerful ship. Something capable of working with the warp drive and using it to get you like off out of system even. The cube, there's like a faint hint of something in it, and it says "this and more," and then it just sounds again.
Okay. I start looking over the data pad and just
There's a lot.
He was unconscious.
What? Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. You guys probably wake up at this point.
So is there
Sorry.
still a light floating around my head?
Basically, yeah. Like a little a little blue now, spinning cube sort of orbiting his head. Or her head, rather.
What the heck is that?
I look at the cube as it floats by, and I kind of think at it. Can I carry you?
The cube gives a vague feeling of acceptance, and then it basically just shrinks down and plops in your hand.
I look at it. I look at it. Like I think at it again. Think at it again and say, "I'm gonna put you somewhere safe, okay?"
There's a vague feeling of acceptance.
I put it in the pouch that I keep on me all the time.
Okay. It doesn't do anything.
What about the doctor lady?
The doctor is probably just watching, like, sort of half curiously. She's like, "That's the first time I've ever seen it do anything. Normally it just sat there and whispered into the minds of people who were around it. It never actually actively did anything. This is very interesting indeed." And she'll actually wander into the lab, pull out a notebook from like a table that's started to deteriorate and start writing in it with a pencil she finds.
I think I would wake up at this point, rubbing my head and going, "Oh goodness, what has happened here?"
Sirius sort of... Where is Sirius anyways? He probably would also wake up. He wouldn't be able to do anything. So he just sort of watches you guys like with a little bit of apprehension, like, for once I actually agree with this man. What the hell happened?
How long was I out?
Dunno. Helen is gonna look at the two of you and the two of us, and basically just say,
I look up and go, y'all weren't out too long.
Sirius nods.
That'll do.
Right. If you have the Enigma and you have the datapad, the black ships should be coming now. We have to leave immediately, as quickly as we can.
Well, then, let's get a move on.
Yes, yes. And she.
He'll prep take off and to expect hostiles.
Okay.
Just then, are you using the? Sorry, I hate to interrupt.
Mm.
Is that your short comms radio? Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mine starts picking up at the same frequency and it plays.
Okay. There's like static on the other end.
Oh.
Oh no, from well yeah, actually yeah, there's static from the other end. Period.
We should go now.
Jump cut.
There is a voice from your comms panel. Or rather from your short range comms. It says, "You shouldn't have picked that up." A black ship appears on the horizon, warping into space from beyond the window. 2 more show up. 3 more show up. They start circling the city.
I feel like it's best for you to run.
Yes, I would agree. Sirius is actually gonna like get up and just start sprinting down the hallway.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow very quickly.
DM.
Yep.
I was gonna ask, do I have that weapon that we talked about?
You do, I'd say. If you want to do this, you could potentially cause a lot of problems, though. All comes down to you.
For now.
Okay, all comes down to you. Right.
I look at Helen and ask, "You are going to come with us, right?"
There's a silence from her end as she watches the ships touch down, and she says, "I might have a ship myself that I've kept hidden. Depending on how damaged the planet is, I might be able to get to it. It's about 2-3 blocks down. It's a fighter, only really big enough for 1 or 2 people. My husband and I used it. I could probably get off Weld with you, keep with you on, and watch your flank."
Can I walk up to Helen and say, "Will you take me with you? I'm sick of this shithole."
She looks at Vixalia rather surprised, and she's like, "I do need a co-pilot now." There's a silence for a few minutes, and then a slight nod. She's like, "Follow me. We'll need to move."
All right. So while they're going, I run out with Que and
Okay.
Sirius.
Okay.
Back to the big
Um,
on there.
as you get to the barn door, you can hear the sounds of blaster fire. There's yelling, and then there is chanting from down the street.
Uh-oh.
And the sound of drums and footsteps.
We need to go now.
The drums get closer, and a group of about 30 black-robed figures cross the street and catch you guys. I'm gonna play this again. They there is like a sense of almost satisfaction from one of them in particular who moves towards you. And you can hear a voice in your head, Remor, that says, "You are marked. We come for you." And they continue forward slowly. The crew of the barn door are preparing to leave. Like, they are rushing. Several of the crewmen start waving you over, like, hurry, 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 hurry. Someone has, like, a turret set up, and they're, like, shooting at the rest of the group. And they're trying to cover your guys' escape.
I get in as quickly as possible and make my way up to the pilot's panel.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay behind and try and help the guys on the ground try and get into the ship.
Okay. Celeste is sitting at the pilot's in the pilot's seat. She looks up at you. She's like, "Oh, thank God. I don't know if I could pilot this thing anymore. All right, you take over." And she gets up very slowly and sort of moves over to the co-pilot seat. Yeah. She sort of waits for you.
No, I get in.
Okay. Remor, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to help the rest of the crew get on board.
Okay, so you start ferrying crew on. There is there are like 3 or 4 crew left, and there's one of them starts rushing forwards, and then he just drops to the floor, and he just goes silent. And he is alive 1 second, and the next he isn't. And then 2 others drop. The last guy reaches you, and he just looks at you panically, and then he just dashes into the ship. The other 3 start to rise from the floor, and they have masks on their faces now. They start advancing towards you slowly.
I shout over the intercoms, "We need to go now!"
Yep.
What? Okay, with this many people, though, we know they're psionic. What's the chance
Yep.
of the ship getting away?
If you leave now, you might just barely make it. A smaller ship could easily get away right now before the full fleet arrives. Look at Evexalia. But the rest of the... but a bigger ship, you guys are going to need to do some maneuvers to get away.
See, is this... Oh, sorry. Head on.
That's fine.
What?
Is there any way to save the crew members?
There isn't. Well, at least Helen's gonna walk up to you from the door. She's gonna be like, "Leave them, go now." Oh wait, no, Helen isn't even there. Shit.
Helen's with me trying to
What is the other one? What is the other guy that knew about it? Taka, I guess, would say. "I saw them once like this. There's no saving them. We need to go right away, please. I can't lose more." And he sort of starts pulling on your arm.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna roll for the rush to the door then.
Okay.
We got a little time.
Okay, cool. You get into the door. Make me a roll 3d6 plus maneuver or movement. Okay, you make it in as they crest the first set of sandbags. Oh, no, you just make it in straight up. They are now on the same street as you, coming towards you. Vixalia, I am going to say you and Helen are on your own in the middle of the street line. There are black-robed figures that are coming towards you, but they advance past you without even looking your way. There are some that look towards you and sort of just blankly stare at you, but they don't do anything yet. Helen looks at you and says basically, "They don't attack anybody who doesn't have the cubes. I was never involved directly in their research, so if they don't know that I know anything, then they can't chase me. We need to go quickly, though. If they find out or they realize what I know or am capable of, they will come after me."
Where's your ship?
The ship is that way, and she points towards like the northeast. She points like towards further into the city.
All right.
Okay.
Has the other two guys taken off yet?
They've started to. Oh,
I just want to ask about that because what does it mean? Because what does it mean that I'm marked?
well, you'll have to ask them that, won't you? When next time that you encounter them.
Oh, great. I don't want to encounter them again.
Well, you're going to. They're the main bad guys for the rest of the game. Right.
I'm gonna start following Helen to her ship,
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Let's
So,
get out of here.
but I want to take out my rifle just
okay,
in case I see anything.
okay. Actually, as you're walking down the road, just to give it a bit more atmosphere to this whole, like, unsettling environment, a black ship goes by. Like, it looks like this thing is falling apart. There are no parts that seem to be working. They're all life signs and running lights. Nothing is working on them. They're like, it looks like it was originally like dark blue and black, but it's just been like painted over in really botched like quick jobs, and they are Kaltoran ships. The ship like stops above the roadway about 2 blocks down, and like several hundred black shadows like descend from the ship and then materialize into people, and they start walking down the street towards you guys again.
I'm gonna take my chances and just keep running.
Okay, cool. So you guys make your way to a 2-man fighter, like a class 1 or class 2 ship. It's fast. It looks really, really, really small. Like we're talking maybe the size of a room. There's a cockpit and not much else. Maybe like space for a couple crates. It sits there completely covered in dust, bright yellow and gold and white paint job obscured by centuries of dust. Helen runs over to the ship. She fishes like a starter from her pocket and like flicks a switch on it, and the ship starts up. Fire starts like flying out from underneath the thing, and it starts to lift off the ground a couple inches. And she sort of waves you over.
You head on. I need to do something quickly, and I like there in my eyes you can just see him pleading, imploring.
She nods slowly. She's like, "Hurry, hurry, hurry, hurry." And she sort of gets into the cockpit herself and sort of straps and waits.
She can't see me, can she?
No.
Well,
she can see you. Just that she can't do anything right yet.
I'm going to place a satchel charge on the ship.
On hers?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You do that. She doesn't do anything.
She doesn't know.
Nope.
And I said, listen, I'm going to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
Head on without me. I'm just an emissary. I was going to die here anyway. You have a better life to live.
She nods and the ship takes off.
Have the other people taken off as well?
Probably the start of them, yeah.
I'm gonna wait until they're fully taken off and like up
Okay.
in the sky.
Okay, so you guys, the two of you, you're out in. You basically take off from the planet. There are about 30 black ships on the horizon, and most of them are a little distance away. You are going to need to use some you're going to need to use some faster technology. There is a jump drive on the ship, but you haven't really had necessary like time to use it. It's not a warp drive, but it'll get you places faster. Think like No Man's Sky shift travel, like in your ship. Yeah, you might need to.
Charges.
Okay, so the first ship that you see, Helen's ship, blows up. The second, and then you guys feel your ship shudder. There's the sound of like beeping and whining, and from within the cockpit, there are several like diagnostic system messages that show up. One of which immediately states left engine offline, fire in left engine, eject, and then a Y or N choice panel thing. You've been out for far too long, Vixania. There is a way to eject engines and other parts from Kaltoran ships. They're piecemeal. So notifications show up. Like, do you want to eject your systems?
Yep.
Okay. There.
I hit the eject button.
Okay. There is the sound of like metallic bang, and you can hear. You can see like a engine drop away towards the planet.
Do I see this happen?
Probably, yeah.
Hope you get hit by it.
Connor, would I see this happen?
You probably would.
Alright. I activate the laser then.
You're using which?
I'm activating the laser. The
Oh,
weapon.
oh shit! I forgot that was the thing. All right. So where are you targeting exactly?
I'm targeting right on them.
Guys, you have 2 turns. What do you do to get away from?
Target lock.
You probably do. Well, no. It takes. It doesn't lock on quite yet. You guys are gonna need or have like 2 turns to get away while it pinpoints your location.
Is there any way to change what you're looking onto?
Give me a programming roll. Sirius is probably gonna help you here as well. He's probably gonna open up the his data pad and start like hacking into satellites in your orbit, and sort of directing you on stuff.
I think more something more closer,
Okay.
because that'd be easier.
Okay. Fair enough. Give me a 14 or better. If you're targeting back towards Vixalia and want to like completely reverse it on him. Or give me a 10 to 12 if you're targeting asteroids or other stuff in near orbit. Trying to find a... There you go. That's better.
15.
15? Vixalia, you see a red mark appear on your HUD right where you are. A countdown timer starts.
Shit. I start running as fast as I can.
All right. From your guys' perspective, Grim and Rebor, you see like what you thought was like a piece of space debris suddenly like swivel into place. There's a light that starts like building from the bottom of this thing, and there is just a beep and an explosion, like a jet of plasma just flings out from this thing. It flies for about a full 10 seconds, and then you see below you guys, part of the city lights up, grows like really bright, and then there's just nothing there.
Well, dang.
In my final remaining moments,
Yep.
can I use telepathy?
Okay.
I'm assuming I've died.
Probably, yeah.
There's more of me. I will not be the only one to come after you. And I will definitely not be the last.
Alright. And
You will fucking die.
everything goes to shit.
And I gladly accept the laser.
Yep. Fair enough. And that, my friends, is where we end.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you in episode 5.